Tonight, the interview fallout. President Biden vowing to stay in the race as calls grow louder within his own party for him to step aside. The president meeting today with his campaign co-chairs 1 day after he told our George Stephanopoulos only the Lord Almighty could drive him from the race. But now a fifth Democrat in Congress has joined calls for him to drop out ahead of tomorrow's meeting of House Democrats, while some major donors are threatening to withhold their money. The president's defenders trying to calm the panic. MaryAlice Parks from the White House. Rick Klein on the road ahead. Texas braces for Beryl, the deadly storm that wreaked havoc through the Caribbean, building up steam as it takes aim at the Gulf Coast, likely to make landfall again as a hurricane. Our team in the storm zone. The heat dome tightens its grip. More than 125 million Americans under heat alerts. Those brutal temperatures and dry conditions fueling more wildfires in California. Additional evacuations ordered. A promising NFL rookie and two former college football players killed in a devastating car crash. An alleged drunk driver now facing charges. A 21st birthday party turns deadly outside Cincinnati. At least 4 killed, several others hurt. The holiday weekend travel blitz, millions take to the skies with records expected to fall as the 4th of July holiday becomes the rush to get home. The busiest day tomorrow. Another historic first for Caitlin Clark, what she just did that no other WNBA rookie has ever done before. A daring and dramatic save. The young man who stopped a runaway boat with a leap of faith. And America Strong tonight, the 9-year-old activist who took matters into his own hands, determined to make a difference.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Whit Johnson. Several developing stories as we come on tonight. We're tracking Beryl, the deadly storm expected to make landfall in Texas as a hurricane, and the record-breaking heat wave across much of the country. But we begin tonight with President Biden under mounting pressure, refusing to back down after that exclusive interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos. The president making it clear he has no intention of dropping out of the race, dismissing his low approval ratings and calls for him to quit. Representative Angie Craig of Minnesota in a tight race for re-election today joining a growing number of Democrats calling on the president to step aside. And Biden is also facing pushback from some big donors, now threatening to withhold funding unless someone else goes to the top of the ticket. But some supporters are coming to the president's defense, and Biden's campaign insisting he's still the best candidate to beat Trump. We have team coverage tonight. ABC's White House correspondent MaryAlice Parks leads us off.
Tonight, President Biden hoping to turn the page, saying calls for him to drop out of the race over concerns about his age are nonsense. In a campaign fundraising message, Biden saying they were wrong when they said we couldn't take on the NRA or Big Pharma or Big Oil. Forget the pundits. His team arguing that over the last 24 hours, out on the campaign trail and sitting down with our George Stephanopoulos, the president has demonstrated he is fit to serve and has a path to win. A source familiar with the campaign's thinking telling ABC News, we're electing a president to lead and deliver for the American people in an incredibly dangerous and fraught time. We're not electing a performer for a reality TV show. But a growing chorus of Democrats unconvinced. 5 current House Democrats now calling on Joe Biden to step aside. The latest to join the call, Representative Angie Craig of Minnesota, a must-win state for President Biden. Another of those House Democrats, Mike Quigley of Illinois, celebrating Biden's record, but saying he does not think the president can win.
It was a tough race. It's brutal now. With the greatest respect, I don't think he's up for it.
A handful of heavyweight donors also publicly weighing in, including Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings, saying he needs to step aside. But others forcefully defending Biden, including Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman.
I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't absolutely believe that he is the right man and he has deserved to have our kinds of support and all that. And this thermonuclear meltdown and just a couple days after that, it's like, for Democrats, for God's sake, get a spine or grow a set, one or the other.
In ABC's exclusive interview, the president insisting his doctors say he is fine.
What I'm asking you is about your personal situation. Do you dispute that there have been more lapses, especially in the last several months?
Can I run the 110 flat? No, but I'm still in good shape.
Are you more frail?
No.
I know you spoke.
Keep my schedule.
I know you spoke with your doctor after the debate. What did he say?
He said, he just looked at me and said, "You're exhausted." I said, "Look, I have medical doctors travel me everywhere, every president does, as you know. Medical doctors, some of the best in the world, travel me everywhere I go. I have an ongoing assessment of what I'm doing. They don't hesitate to tell me if they think there's something wrong."
And dismissing his low approval ratings.
Mr. President, I've never seen a president at 36% approval get reelected.
Well, I don't believe that's my approval rate. That's not what our polls show.
And if you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the good job as I know I can do. That's what this is about. Look, George, think of it this way. You've heard me say this before. I think the United States and the world is at an inflection point where the things that happen in the next several years are going to determine what the next 6, 7 decades look like. And who's going to be able to hold NATO together like me? Who's going to be able to be in a position where I'm able to keep the Pacific Basin in a position where we're at least checkmating China now? Who's going to do that?
The choice ultimately will be up to the voters, unless Joe Biden gives in to his critics and personally withdraws. After that interview, Biden saying he is confident he can defeat Donald Trump in the November election.
I've beaten him before, and I've gotten more done than any president has.
And with the president is campaigning in Pennsylvania tomorrow and plans to hold a press conference here in D.C. as a part of the NATO summit here next week. You can imagine all eyes will also be on Capitol Hill these next few days as members of Congress come back into session. Of course, a lot of questions for Democrats about what they see as the best path forward and whether they think the president should step aside.
MaryAlice, thank you. Let's get right to ABC News political director Rick Klein. And Rick, give us the big picture here. Biden remains defiant, but the clock is ticking towards the convention. Where does he stand in this race right now?
Whit, no matter what Joe Biden says about the polls and whether he believes them or not, they are the reality. Right now, the 538 national polling average has Biden trailing by about 2 points to former President Trump. And in every single one of the major 7 battleground states, he right now is behind. That was the reality going into the debate. And there are many people watching the interview last night who thought that he turned that around substantially. Those numbers are going to be interesting to watch in a very consequential couple of days ahead.
And Rick, what about Biden's opponent, Donald Trump, and his campaign? How are they responding to this turmoil among the Democrats?
Trump has been uncharacteristically quiet. He did put out a pretty snarky statement encouraging Biden to stay in the race after the interview with George. But he also has a lot on his own plate. His convention, the Republican convention, starts in just 9 days. And before then, he's almost certain to choose a vice presidential running mate, even though the contours of this race are quite unsettled as of this moment.
This race unprecedented in every way. All right, Rick Klein, thank you. And tune into This Week tomorrow morning for the entire exclusive interview. George Stephanopoulos one-on-one with President Biden. Turning now to the weather threat and Texas bracing for Beryl, likely to make landfall as a hurricane. Coastal residents are preparing for a dangerous and life-threatening storm surge and power outages, boarding up their homes and loading up on supplies. Some mandatory evacuation orders already underway. ABC's Melissa Adan is in Texas tonight.
Tonight, Texas bracing for impact as powerful tropical storm Beryl barrels towards the U.S. The deadly storm leaving a path of destruction in the Caribbean, killing at least 11. Texas officials calling for voluntary evacuations in several counties along the coast. Coastal residents preparing for the worst, potentially more than a foot of rain, life-threatening storm surges, and widespread power outages. Here in Port Lavaca, residents stocking up on supplies and nervously awaiting Beryl's arrival.
The Villalobos family owns this longtime cafe. They're not taking any chances ahead of the storm already boarding up. How concerned are you for this upcoming storm?
Very concerned. We live right across the street from the bay, so that's why we're just taking as much precautions as we can ahead of time so that we're not caught in the storm trying to do it at the last minute.
Forecasters say the massive storm, now less than 400 miles from Corpus Christi, is expected to intensify as it moves through the abnormally warm waters of the Gulf and could slam Texas as a hurricane.
With city managers along the Gulf Coast urging residents to not ride out the storm and prepare now as they could face a dangerous storm surge, some parts up to 6 feet high.
Melissa, Adan, thanks so much. Let's get right to meteorologist Jeff Smith from our New York station WABC. Jeff, you're tracking Beryl and this dangerous heat wave.
Yeah, and Beryl, a tropical storm for the time being, but this will re-intensify into a hurricane as it approaches those warmer waters right near the Texas Gulf Coast. We have hurricane warnings in effect from Baffin Bay up to Sargent, including the Corpus Christi area. Tropical storm warnings, including Galveston Bay. This makes landfall probably around daybreak Monday as an 85-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane. Could be a 3 to 6 foot storm surge just to the right of the path of the storm. And rainfall will be a big issue as well. 8 to 12 inches plus from Victoria up to College Station. That would be your heaviest axis of rainfall. The other big story, coast-to-coast heat. A couple of different heat waves going on. Raleigh broke an all-time record yesterday. So did Palm Springs, and the heat wave out west just keeps on going. It's relentless out there. Las Vegas has multiple opportunities over the next several days to break their all-time record.
It's really something there. Jeff Smith, thank you. We appreciate it. And those triple-digit temperatures are helping to fuel fast-moving wildfires out west. This time-lapse video capturing one of the hundreds of wildfires raging in California. The historic heat making conditions even more difficult for the firefighters battling the flames. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee in California.
Tonight, rapid spreading fires and devastating heat is scorching California. The lake fire making a significant run to the west Friday evening, consuming more than 12,000 acres in Santa Barbara County, burning about 500 acres an hour. The U.S. Forest Service saying it is burning in grass, brush, and timber near Zaca Lake. More than a dozen fires burning throughout the Golden State with a red flag warning in effect for the Central Coast. Evacuation orders in Mariposa, north of Fresno, after the French fire destroyed more than 900 acres.
We have nothing. It's devastating. At 48 years old, you don't have anything to your name anymore.
Take a look at this stunning rescue video at the Basin Fire outside of Fresno. The California National Guard rescuing a trapped and injured firefighter. This as the historic heat wave roils the country with 128 million people under heat alerts. Triple-digit temperatures smashing all-time records. Palm Springs, California soaring to 124 degrees Friday, breaking its hottest temperature ever recorded. Las Vegas expected to do the same in the coming days.
When firefighters are battling these large-scale fires much earlier in the year than normal, and they are expecting it to get worse as the season goes on. Whit.
Jacqueline Lee for us tonight. Thank you. Now to the tragic news from the NFL. Minnesota Vikings rookie cornerback Kyrie Jackson was among 3 people killed early this morning in a multi-car collision in Maryland. Police say an alleged drunk driver appears to have caused the crash. New details coming in tonight and reaction from the NFL. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, authorities in Maryland believe an alleged drunk driver is behind a horrific 3-car crash just outside of Washington, D.C. that killed 24-year-old Viking star rookie Kyrie Jackson and 2 of his high school teammates. Just after 3 this morning, police say the driver of an Infiniti, identified as Corey Klingman, hit 2 cars, changing lanes while speeding, causing a chain reaction. A Dodge Charger with Jackson and former college football stars Isaiah Hazel and Anthony Lighton Jr. inside, then slamming into several tree stumps.
The Minnesota Vikings select Kyrie Jackson.
Not even 3 months ago, the NFL's Minnesota Vikings drafted Jackson in the 4th round, a contender as starting cornerback. Tonight, the team devastated, saying our thoughts are with Kyrie's family, friends, teammates, and coaches, as well as all of the victims of this tragic accident.
And tonight, charges are pending against that driver, Corey Klingman. Police say no one else was injured in that crash. Whit.
Morgan Norwood, thank you. We're getting late word tonight that 2 inmates who escaped from a Mississippi detention center have been captured. The Claiborne County Sheriff's Office releasing this video of the 2 men being taken into custody earlier today. Both men charged with murder, now facing additional charges for escaping. Authorities say they were hiding out in an abandoned home. Next tonight, the holiday travel rush expected to break records. Millions of Americans hitting the roads and the skies on Sunday. Let's get right to ABC's Phil Lipoff at Newark Airport. Phil, preparations underway for what could be the busiest travel day of the summer.
That's what a lot of people are expecting, with millions of Americans tonight wrapping up their July 4th celebrations and either heading home or getting ready to do that. And they are going to have a lot of company. Tomorrow is expected to be the busiest day, at least of this July 4th holiday season. We'll start at the airports, where TSA is expecting to screen more than 3 million travelers tomorrow alone. Airlines are ready. American is expecting tomorrow to be the busiest day of the entire summer, with more than 6,500 flights taking off. Delta and United preparing for the travel rush as well. But nowhere will it be busier with than on the roads. More than 60 million people driving to their destinations this 4th. That's 2.8 million more people on the roads than last year. Best time to travel, as always, before 10 a.m. or after 7 p.m. and no significant increase in gas prices to report. The national average for a gallon of regular holding steady at $3.51.
All right, Phil Lipoff, thank you. There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight. This Saturday, a 21st birthday party turns violent outside Cincinnati, and the daring save on a lake in New Hampshire. Stay with us. Next tonight, authorities looking for a motive in an early morning mass shooting in Florence, Kentucky, near Cincinnati. 4 people were killed, 3 wounded when a 21st birthday party at a home turned deadly. Police say it appears the 20-year-old suspect knew people at the party but had not been invited. He was later found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. An alleged drunk driver arraigned today in the deaths of 3 people on the 4th of July here in New York. Daniel Hayden is facing numerous charges, including manslaughter. He's being held without bail. Authorities say surveillance video shows his truck traveling at a high rate of speed just before it struck people at a park celebrating the holiday. When we come back, Caitlin Clark with one for the professional record books. To the index now, an amazing save on a New Hampshire lake. Take a look at this. A runaway boat going in circles. No one on board to grab the wheel after the captain was knocked in the water, and then a teenager jumping into the air from the back of his friend's jet ski, taking control of the boat. That 17-year-old says he's off to the Navy this fall. The Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark tonight with a first in the league, recording a triple-double as a rookie. 19 points, 13 assists, 12 rebounds in the Fever's win over the New York Liberty. It's also the first triple-double in the Fever's history. Not to be outdone, though, Chicago Sky rookie sensation Angel Reese extending her single-season record for consecutive games with a double-double to 12. A French cyclist says he would do it all over again, despite the fine. Julian Bernard ordered to pay about $220 for stopping to kiss his wife and young son during Friday's time trial stage of the Tour de France. This video is now part of the official investigation. The cyclist saying, "It's these moments that keep me going and cycling." Still ahead, the very young man making a difference in his community in a big way. Finally tonight, America Strong and proof you're never too young to make a difference.
Hello, my name is William Miller.
Most days, 9-year-old William Miller is not in a suit and tie. He likes playing catch with his dad, practicing kickboxing, and walking with his grandma to the local Sonic. But when dangerous street racing continued to be a problem at the intersection they had to cross, William took action.
We just hear all the time. It's not very safe around here, and I don't want my grandma to get hurt.
After his grandma almost got hit, he went straight to the city council, the pint-sized activist showing up in that suit and tie.
How you guys doing today? Me and my grandma would walk to Sonic to get some ice cream. It's very dangerous because of all of the street racers. I wonder if you guys have any solution to fix this.
The mayor and police chief later meeting with William and promising change.
Everyone started to come to talk to me.
Now there's stepped up law enforcement in the area and a brand new stoplight.
This light here, this is the one that you did, LB.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
William returning to the council last month.
I want to thank you because you guys made some changes.
My grandson at 9 years old has taught me if you have a problem with where you live, you have to go talk to the people who are in charge.
William encouraging others to speak up and making no secret about his future aspirations.
I want to lead the country. I want to be president. I want to do some things for America.
Already doing big things, and we're all for it. Thanks so much for watching tonight. I'm Wade Johnson in New York. Hope to see you on GMA in the morning. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.